Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. Next month, the Senate will vote on gun control legislation, but provisions that the majority of voters support won't be in the bill. Yesterday, California Senator Dianne Feinstein's assault weapon ban was pulled from the legislation, despite a Pew Research poll showing 55% of Americans support the ban. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid said he will allow the weapons ban to be offered as an amendment, but he will only introduce one measure, which increases the charges and penalties for gun trafficking. As Republicans would mount fierce opposition to the ban on military-style weapons, Mr. Reid said he felt sympathy for Dianne Feinstein, but that her bill did not have the 60 votes needed to prevent a filibuster. The final bill may also include provisions to strengthen background checks, but it could be weighed down with pro-gun amendments from the other side of the aisle. According to the New York Times, if that happens, the bill meant to strengthen gun regulations can turn into one that actually enhances gun rights. In an interview with reporters, Feinstein said, "How many assault weapons do you need circulating? To have these mass killings is such a blight on everything that America stands for." So the gun lobby wins again, and modest legislation, which would keep military-style weapons out of criminals' hands, can't even be put up for a vote. The American people deserve to know which side their representatives stand on. Either senators are with the majority of Americans who want these weapons off the street, or they're with their gun lobby. As President Obama said in his State of the Union, they deserve a vote, and now is the time for that vote to happen. In Screwed news, in the 5 years since the 2008 financial meltdown, nearly every state in our nation has reduced funding for public universities. According to a new report out from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, only North Dakota and Wyoming are investing in our future leaders at the same level they were before the Great Recession. The Think Progress blog points out that some states have made these drastic cuts to education funding only to preserve tax breaks, leaving students on the hook for the skyrocketing tuition costs. Students in Arizona have been hit the hardest, with a 78% increase in college costs just since 2008, all to preserve a $538 million corporate tax break enacted in 2011. So while corporations in that state enjoy a 4.9% tax rate, students suffer with closed campuses, eliminated courses, inadequate school resources, and they pay nearly double the cost to obtain a degree. This is immoral and extremely unwise. Our nation is 16th in the world at educating our future leaders, and huge cuts in ballooning tuition costs will only push us down further on that list. We must start investing in an educated workforce. If we're supposed to be the greatest country in the world, why don't we guarantee the right to a first-class education? This has to change. In the best of the rest of the news, Senator Elizabeth Warren is a warrior for the middle class, and in between taking on the banksters and calling Republicans out for their pro-1% policies, Warren is also working on a book to document the battles she's fought on behalf of working people of our nation. In an interview with the Associated Press on Tuesday, Senator Warren said the new book, called Rigged, will tell the story of her time on a congressional oversight panel, how she helped set up the Congressional Financial Protection Bureau, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and how she ran a successful Senate campaign to defeat Scott Brown. Warren said, quote, "The title refers to how the economic system is too often rigged against families that work hard and play by the rules. The story is national, but it's also personal," end quote. Leave it to Senator Elizabeth Warren. Not only does she fight every day for the middle class, but she manages to find time to document the story. The next time you hear the Republican talking point about the U.S. having the highest corporate tax rate in the world, remember this. In 2012, some of our nation's largest corporations actually got huge refunds. For instance, General Electric made $81 billion in profits last year and received a whopping $3 billion tax refund. Bank of America is another tax dodger, as the company earned over $75 billion last year, yet wrote off so many legal settlements the company was eligible for a tax refund of over $1 billion. It is a privilege to do business in our nation and to make huge profits off hardworking American citizens, yet we're actually paying corporations to be here. If Republicans are so worried about the debt and the deficit, they should be putting an end to this corporate welfare. Companies want to use our commons to make huge profits off our fellow citizens. Let's demand that they, at the very least, start paying their fair share in taxes. And finally, the Westboro Baptist Church has a new neighbor. About 6 months ago, Aaron Jackson, a founding member of a charity organization called Planting Peace, bought the house directly across the street from the anti-gay group. The purchase is a part of a new nonprofit that he calls Equality House. Mr. Jackson found out that the house while playing around on Google Earth was available and was struck with a brilliant idea. He said that as soon as he saw it was for sale, he thought, oh my gosh, I could buy a house in front of the Westboro Baptist Church, and I'm going to paint the thing the color of the pride flag. And yesterday, that's exactly what he did. Out front of the newly painted rainbow exterior, Mr. Jackson also flies the pride flag, and he is already working on the next steps in his fight for LGBT equality. Congrats to Aaron Jackson for standing up to Fred Phelps and his homophobic hate group. In the words of Jesus, love thy neighbor as thyself. I wonder if that includes neighbors living in a rainbow-colored house. I think so. And that's the way it is today, Wednesday, March 20th, 2013. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.